Welcome to the Veterans Forum for the month of April. I'm Roger Hathaway, host, and today we have a special guest. He's been on before, Rich Honan, and he's going to give us an update on what he's been doing with his project, sending packages to the guys and girls in Iraq and Afghanistan. So, Rich, if you can give us an update.
All right, Roger. All right. Yeah, like many of you know, I've actively been involved in sending support packages, care packages, if you will, to many of our troops that are serving in Iraq. I generally have come across their names just in passing. Neighbors, friends, people at work tell me somebody who is serving over there. We currently have 7 men and women from Winthrop that are serving over there. I currently have 10 that receive letters and packages from me each month. I originally started doing this myself, and now it's really expanded. I get a lot of support from other people in the town.
That's great.
Either people bring me in bags of stuff to send, or give me money to buy postage, and it's something really important. It's not a question of whether you support the war or don't support the war. What we're doing now is letting those over there, those men and women that are over there, that we support them, that we know they're there. It's a tough job. If you've ever been away from home for a length of time, what it's like to be away from home, to get a letter of support, a package of stuff, and that's what I try to do.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
It's I'll tell you, anytime I feel down and out, when I send off one of these packages and write a letter,
makes you feel good, huh? Yeah.
It'll take away most of your worries. You know.
Yeah.
I recently got a letter from Michael Palmer, who's serving with the Army over there, and I guess I had sent him a letter previously telling him about some of the kids from Winthrop that I've been writing to. And he said, first, I want to thank you for all the packages and letters. It's great from hearing from you and reading some local papers. I read you write Seth, who is also in Iraq. I know Seth from Pop Warner in East Boston. We were on the same team. He is from East Boston originally. If you write him again, tell him I said hi. Well, I'll tell you, I got this letter the beginning of March, and about a half an hour later, this fellow walked in, older fellow, I'll say he was maybe in his 40s, and this big kid, and this is up at my sign shop, and I got done with someone, I went over and I said, can I help you? And they asked for Mr. Honan. I said, Mr. Honan, what can I do for you? And the older fellow said, well, I want to introduce you to Seth. And it took me about 2 seconds. I've been writing to this kid, Seth Suda, since last fall. Right. And here, Michael Palmer writes about him in a letter. And
he walks in the door.
Yeah. But the thing is, I don't know what any of them look like.
No,
I mean, I saw Michael Palmer play football back in '96.
Right.
And but it was quite. He was home an hour for. They were home about a week, you know, and then he was going back, and I took him into my stash of goods that I send over to them, and I asked him, I said, what do you like that I send you? And he's looking at all the stuff. It looks like a junk food store. And he said he liked the marathon bars they're energy bars. And someone had brought me in about 5 or 6 cases, 7 cases of them. And he said they like them when they go on overnight patrols. You know, it's like a small, they're relatively expensive. They cost $1.50 for what amounts to a candy bar, but they give them a little boost, and he said he gives them to all his men, you know, and I made him up
that's great.
Right after that, I made him up a 20-pound box of marathon bars and Girl Scout cookies.
Cookies?
Yeah. Well, I try to support the Girl Scouts, and the Girl Scouts cookies ended up going right to Iraq.
How many packages have you sent, Rich, so far? You get any idea?
I'm probably almost up to a half a ton of stuff.
Oh, jeez.
I send probably 75 to 100 pounds a month. And like I say, people buy me postage now, which helps a lot. I had a woman come in the shop this morning from the yacht club. She had bought a small license plate from me, and I told her, I said, you can either pay me for the license plate for $20, or you can buy me $40 worth of stuff to send overseas to these kids. So I told her, I said, I have 10 people. She made me up, she went to CVS or Osco and made up 10 bags, one for each soldier, with shaman on the go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Some shaving cream,
Right.
some lip therapy,
Right.
aspirin, let's see, I guess that's skin cream.
Skin cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deodorant,
Yeah.
chapstick, and suntan lotion. And she even made up one. We have a young girl from Winthrop, Priscilla, from Brothers Restaurant. I guess people know her as PJ.
Right,
Lives on
right.
Bellevue.
Right.
And she's over there. And she even made me up one
For her, huh?
just for her. Got some cleaning cloths, and some of the same type of things. Shaman on the go.
Pink sponge.
Is that what that is? I guess it's it's a sponge. Yeah,
a shower sponge.
And
Right.
remember, I recently got a letter. But anyway, so she brought me in one bag of each for each one of the soldiers over there. She also brought me in, I mean, this was for my $20. She must have given me, I don't know, $50 or $100 worth of stuff. Because she gave me a stamp,
Stamps. Okay.
a priority mail stamp, which will get each one of these packages to Iraq, along with the some priority mails, things just to identify them.
What's the travel time to get them over there, do you know?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the last package, the one that, usually I don't know, but the one I sent to this Priscilla, or PJ, that was sent on, let's see, wait a minute. Let me just take these down.
Yeah.
I think I sent it on the 19th, or the 12th. Let me see, because she dated this. I sent it to her on Monday the 12th of March, and she received it on Monday the 19th, 7 days. But I think she's, now I don't know. I know she's in Baghdad, and I'm assuming she's in the green zone, which is a good place to be. If there was a good place in Iraq, that would be a good place. So it took 7 days. She mailed me this letter on Monday the 19th. So I'm assuming she got it the same day, very prompt. And I received a letter from her on Saturday. I received this letter almost 5 or 6 days later.
Right.
And this will give you an appreciation for the small things in life, you know.
Right.
So yeah, what do I send them, you know? And then I'm going to read this.
Yeah.
So I might send them, you know, foot powder.
Yep.
Triscuits, and I send Cheese Whiz. You know, we used to get Cheese Whiz in Vietnam.
Right.
And then I have Richard Duval, one of our big supporters.
Right.
I never treasured these, but he said in Vietnam, these were a favorite. I don't know, but I've got 2 cases of Vienna sausages that, I'll tell you, these, I don't know, they can trade them with the Iraqis if they don't like them. But Richard thought that these were
great,
he said, didn't you really love Vienna sausages? And I didn't have that recollection. You know? But anyways, he brought me in 2 cases of those. And I buy a lot of stuff, so I buy in Band-Aids, so everybody needs Band-Aids.
Sure,
but I've been buying these ones, the NASCAR ones.
You know, this stuff is great. It just hits the right area. You
I
know
got
what
them all Batman toothbrushes. Like foot soles, you know, for your boots.
Sure.
Let's see, razor blades. A lot of these facial wipes. These are like individual wrapped ones. Aspirin, Rolaids, and just to show you the importance of something simple like Tylenol.
Yeah.
This is from Priscilla. Dear Mr. Honan, thank you very much for your package. It was so good to see the Winthrop transcript again. The Globe and the Herald made my day too. I don't know how you got my address here, but I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful you did. The socks the batteries and the Tylenol were 3 of the most useful things you could have ever sent. But I'm sure you knew that. And the socks were the most comfortable socks I've ever worn. Listen, I didn't send her mink line slippers. These were white athletic socks. I'll be honest, Dave McDonald, his daughter, Dave McDonald from Windows Plus, his daughter, I think she lives over on Marshall Street. I don't know her name, but she brought me in a big package of stuff, more Slim Jims than I've ever seen, even in a Cumberland Farms. And she brought me in all these white socks, and that's what PJ here is talking about, is they must have just been nice, soft white socks, you know. But and the socks were the most comfortable socks I've ever worn. I can't believe that, but you know, it's
well, when you're in Iraq and you're doing whatever you're doing, you get something like that. It feels like it's like it is mink, you know.
Yeah. He said, and all the goodies you sent keep all the soldiers of my platoon happy between chow. So, like I say, Tylenol and Dave's daughter also brought in batteries. And so batteries, Tylenol, and socks. You know, I was thinking that, oh, I don't think she had received Vienna sausages, so she may still come back with the thing. But you know, I send them all this kind of food out. You know, I send them Sports Illustrated. I get day-old papers, but I always make sure they get the transcript and the Herald, and I try to keep them up with the baseball going on. You know, Pringles is your marathon energy bars.
Do they ever write anything about the war itself? Specifically? And they're not censored now, are they? It's not like World War II where they used to read the mail and everything.
Matter of fact, this is from Michael Palmer. Let's see. Well, things here are the same. We raided a village last night about 1 a.m. and caught the leader of a terrorist IED cell. That's the ones who plant those bombs all over the place, operating our region. He was escorted in my truck and sat right behind me. He was a bad man with a beard and all fat. And this really kind of shows, this is a young kid. I don't know if this is bad, but I wanted to punch him in his teeth. Sitting next to someone you know who placed and financed bombs that possibly killed or injured troops and civilians and would kill me or any American if given the chance, brought such hatred over me. And I don't like that feeling of hatred. It's feeling the dark side that embraces me and hateful people. But I just couldn't help it. It did feel good knowing we got his ass, and we probably saved numerous lives getting him off the streets, you know. And
so they do right on the war.
You know, I have one here. This is from Frank McGinn. He's since returned. Frank McGinn is a lieutenant colonel in the Army. He was a commander of a garrison or a small base over there, Fort Camp Speichler. And he writes the same thing. He goes, things are fairly busy around here. We had the Iraqi police show up at our gate last night with one Iraqi police KIA killed in action, and the other soon passed before we could get him to the hospital. Later we had 2 separate incidents of small arms fire against our entry checkpoint. The area is still a busy area. So they do, and then you know, I had sent some pictures of myself to Michael in Vietnam. And I told him what I did. You know, and when I was in Vietnam, I had a dog, and I had a little monkey that one of my buddies brought back from Cambodia. Even though we never went to Cambodia, it was brought back from Cambodia. He must have gone over the border by himself. And but he says, I thought the pictures of you in Vietnam were great. I wish I could drink beer. You know, we could drink beer in Vietnam. There is no beer in Iraq.
The Muslim, right? The Muslim influence. They don't.
I mean, that was one thing we weren't short of. It would make it more exciting. I'm also glad we have local nationals to do KP and use the septic hoses, no burning. What that means is I don't know where the septic hoses go, but in Vietnam we had a term, it was called burning the shit house. And you had to go out there and it was a drum and pour all the stuff into one drum, mix diesel fuel with it. I couldn't believe that they were asking me to do that. And you'd put a gas mask on and even that wouldn't help. But they had to be done every day. And they don't, so he says they don't do that. And we did use the locals for KP. They don't allow us to have pets. Like I said, I had a little dog and I had a monkey.
Oh, they don't allow pets or mascots, huh?
No, I'll tell you, everybody in my unit had a dog. You know, we had like a herd of them that would run through. I wish they would, because there are so many little puppies running around. But listen to this. Iraq is swarmed with wild dogs. They are vicious and sometimes they get shot just trying to attack us. You know, but I love the monkey. And but Michael writes a good letter. I chided him a little bit about the only real recollection I have of Michael is the Thanksgiving game in '96 when the Revere game, and I remember he tackled a Revere player and threw him down on the ground. I thought it was a questionable call, and he threw him right into the middle of the Revere players, and God, in Revere. And I said, wow. And but he kind of chided me. He said, I laughed about your memory of me in the '96 Thanksgiving game. It was a clean hit, and yes, a little scuffle broke out. But I also returned the opening kick after halftime to put us ahead 14-7 and recharge the team. I wish you remembered me for that, but oh well. You know, I also had an interception. You just sparked some memories, you know. And but you know, I sent him pictures of. I was around Saigon, down the southern part of the country, and actually, Iraq and Vietnam look very similar. They're kind of third world countries. Oh, well, very, very primitive. You know, the locals were still using farm animals to get around. Vietnam was more tropical, jungle-like, but parts of Iraq are more desert. But they look very, very similar. You know, and another one here. This is from this one was in the transcript. This is from Rob Lundberg. He's a captain in the Army. He delivers humanitarian aid, and his is a little interesting. He said, my job is civil affairs unit to drive around and talk to the Iraqis, hoping not to get blown up. So far, 10 soldiers in my battalion have been killed trying to help Joe's six-pack Iraqi. I work with the local government councils and tribal sheiks trying to get their system working. We facilitate reconstruction projects for schools, hospitals, and other essential infrastructure. I also spend a lot of time with the Iraqi army trying to get them to assist with civilian military operations. We deliver medical supplies and humanitarian assistance to people that shoot at us when we leave. We fix something and they blow it up. Now there's a picture here. This is a photo of Robert here standing. He's actually talking about the fact he wears 90 pounds of ammo and flak vest, a full bulletproof vest. But the second photo that he sent me, and even if the camera did a close-up on it, this is an IED right here. And he said it was a dud, it didn't go off. And so I was very curious to scroll it down on my screen to see what an IED, I kind of picture these IEDs with, I don't know, old like artillery rounds and stuff piled up. And what this is a photograph of is, it looks like an oil can, a plastic oil can, like from Mobil or Exxon, if you've got Cumberland Farms, that somebody filled with maybe aluminum nitrate, like fertilizer, and maybe gasoline, and there's a fuse on it. I mean, it's very, very primitive. But maybe the fuse went off, but
it didn't blow.
You know, and but
I guess they get both. They get sophisticated things and then the improvised. Like this is. You know?
I was kind of wondering. So why didn't we have these in Vietnam? We had more booby trap things. you know, pungy stuff you'd step
Spongy
into
sticks,
steaks
yeah,
and
right.
More very primitive. But now it's remote control things
yeah.
that
The
and
cell
they can-
phone brought that to us.
cell phones and
Right.
that they can set them off. That technology wasn't around when
then,
we
right.
didn't have that. But this fellow is probably on his way home now. I've been writing to him since last May, and he's been and he's actually someone. I saw his name in an email to my nephew Matthew, who works for me, and I asked Matthew. I said, "Who's this Robert?" And he said, "Oh, he's a college buddy from 20 years ago, UMass. They were all in the same fraternity or dorm." And so I said, "What's he doing in Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, I don't know. He's in the Army. He's over there. You know, he was in the reserves." And so I said, "Well, give me his address." And so he's been getting packages from me, and he, you know, made his day. You know, I wanted to write you a letter in thanks for all the care packages you have sent me during my deployment. But as you well know, things can get quite busy here. Because this is really the first letter he wrote me. Believe me, your packages were by far the best. No amount of thanks would be appropriate for your help this past year. You know, and even...
yeah, it's amazing. No, it is a great thing for morale boosting, you know, to get that all of a sudden it shows up, you know, and that stuff in there. And sure, some of the stuff you get in the PX, but not all of it, you know what I'm saying?
No.
And
I mean, I don't know if they get Vienna sausages.
Probably not.
But you know, and the thing is, I don't know any of the kids, and so when they get a package from me, I'll tell you. Now I kind of send it to them and to the unit because the people at Winthrop have been great about, you know, donating stuff, and the packages that I keep sending, I send them more often and more often and larger, and I mean. You know, candy, tuna fish, mayonnaise. I try to think of things that this would make your day, you know.
Sure, absolutely.
Today on the way back from, I'd gone to Walmart's this morning and I bought some chowder, and I stopped at Kelly's and they gave me some cups and some napkins.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Okay.
You know, I like them, you know, when they serve it over there. They can have a little bit of,
that's great.
You know,
that's great.
And, but no, I really enjoy it, and like I say, I mean, let's see, I only have another, let's see, what's this Priscilla, I'll read a little bit more from her. She mentioned, and she said, in her letter, Priscilla said, you mentioned Brothers Restaurant. I got married recently, but my maiden name is Betupoulos. Not too good with the pronunciation. And my father, Nick, and my uncle George owned Brothers Restaurant.
Oh, okay.
And that's my brother Danny that used to work for you. Her brother Danny, when he was in high school, worked for me. Yeah. And what a small world it is that you'd know them and write to me in Baghdad about it.
I know, you know? And that's something.
I don't know if you eat at Brothers Restaurant often, but I used to waitress down there before I joined the Army. But to all my customers down there know me as PJ. And then I always send a new one. I send them a copy of my my pay stub from Vietnam. And it says, seeing your paycheck from 1969 helped me realize how much money I am making here. I can't believe you only made $38 a week. I don't want to tell you how much I make.
Yeah, they're earning it too,
but,
though.
$38 a week. Then we got $1 a day for hostile combat pay.
Oh yeah, right.
And we got $9 a month, or 30 cents a day for foreign duty pay.
You were airborne too. Did you get jump pay while you were over there?
No. Somebody just got on me about. They said, "Did you jump when you were in Vietnam?" I said, "No one jumped." And they said, "I didn't jump because I was with the 82nd Airborne, but I never jumped out of a plane."
Right.
And this was a woman, and she jumped on me verbally and said, "You mean you're a leg?" And I said, "A leg? What the heck is a leg?" She goes, "Well, that's someone who's assigned to an airborne unit who didn't jump." So I said, what did I do something bad? What's the problem here? I said, I served in the Army, I served in Vietnam, I served with the 82nd Airborne. I'm as proud of that as someone who graduated from Harvard,
Sure,
you know?
absolutely,
You can't
sure.
take that away from me. What the heck are you calling me a leg fop? And it was a woman, because she was in the 82nd Airborne.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure, all right.
Yeah. My brother and I were in a rowing race down in Hull, and I had I'm proud to wear that
Sure,
insignia.
sure,
You know, I'm surprised I don't have it on here. Each of my grandchildren, I wear a pin that says 82nd Airborne Vietnam.
Yeah.
And then this is Priscilla. She said it was funny seeing your return address on the box you sent me. I was thinking Johnson Ave. Who do I know that lives on Johnson Ave? I figured I would know you because my parents' house is on Bellevue. I'm sure I've seen you in passing. Winthrop is so small, but I don't think we've ever met. Well, Mr. Honan, it's time for me to go to bed. I hope you and your family are doing well. Thanks for everything. It's appreciated more than you know. Yeah.
Well, Rich, I think that's great. I think you're bringing a lot of pleasure to these guys and girls over there. And
even Marines. I even have two Marines.
You do send it to Marines too, huh?
Yeah. And if anybody wants an address to write to, you know where to contact me up at the sign shop. Right. We've got, let's see, I think 7 from Winthrop. You know,
7.
2 Marines
Right.
and 5 Army. You know,
right.
And I keep the Marines on a separate sheet because they live their own. They have to live separately.
Well, Rich, I think that brings us to a close on our show. We just about hit it for the half hour, and I'm sure that the viewing audience will get a lot of pleasure out of this and realizing what's going on and the work that you are doing. And thanks again, Rich.
All righty. Okay. Roger, always a pleasure.
All righty.
Like I say, if anybody's got any questions, just give me a call at the shop. I'll give you an address or any information you need.
All right. See you, Winthrop. Take care.
Over and out.
All right.